Welcome to a new vlog. So what I've done to myself is stupid. What I've done is I replaced this camera, which is why I'm holding the mic now. What I've done is I tried to read The Bone Hunters and Wall of Storms book 2 in the Dandelion Dynasty at the same time. That was foolishness. I tried to balance the two for a while and then surrendered, put Wall of Storms on hold while I finished up The Bone Hunters, and now I'm back to the Wall of Storms, and finishing this is going to be my task of the week. I'm a good chunk into it. Actually, might be a little bit further on than this because I switched to audiobook to do some cleaning yesterday, so a little bit further than that. But I love it. So what I'm going to do in this vlog is keeping it spoiler free. I'm going to make this so that in one vlog we talk about Wall of Storms completely and still spoiler free. So the first book, The Grace of Kings, was amazing. So I loved it so much. It took place after an emperor had taken over these collection of islands that all had their own freedom, and then now they're all flying under one banner. Now they're all under the rule of this emperor, and he is doing what historically gets done, where he's saying you have one language, you have one system, you have one rule, so that we can have uniformity, which means that a lot of culture is also being pushed out. So when this emperor dies, there is this uprising that happens among the people who remember what it was like when that land was theirs, and they want that back. So it's this uprising, it's this fighting back, it's this rebellion, and it's this rebellion from multiple different sides. It's a story of war, it's a story of the consequences of war, it's a story of brotherhood, it's a story of people being shaped by war, both in positive ways and in terrible ways, and it was amazing. However, probably the biggest problem with it was, the biggest hurdle of The Grace of Kings is the storytelling style. So Ken Liu was a renowned short story author first, and that was how I started with him too, and he blew me away with his ability to write short stories so compellingly, to pack so much emotion and themes and emphasis in so few words. And The Grace of Kings reads like that too. It reads like a collection of short stories that are telling an overarching story, which is maybe not the ideal way to novelize something. Because of the writing style and because of how much he would pack into a few pages, it almost makes you feel a little bit distanced from the characters. And as a character reader, I was both impressed by his ability to make me care about characters in so few words, and a little bit, I wish I got more. I wish he spent time with these characters a little bit more and drew me in closer. The Wall of Storms is doing that very thing. Let me tell you what the Wall of Storms is. So this is the time of peace. This is after the events of book 1. We're now in a time of peace, and in the wise words of Joe Abercrombie, the trouble with peace is new problems arise. So in times of comfort and contentment, new problems come. So this one is way more politically charged while still having the incredible scenes of action and of betrayal and of really, really difficult decisions being made, as well as the gods at play and the roles that they play in the world as well. We're drawn so close to the characters in this book. Ken Liu, I think, saw the things that were a hurdle for people in book 1 and so strongly corrected. So now we're drawn in so close to these characters. It doesn't feel like he's packing as much as he can into every page. He's slowed down. He's capable of doing both, of having so much impact in so few words and in drawing it out so that we're brought in close and these characters, we are so real. Anyway, this book is incredible so far. I love it so much. I'm very, very attached to certain characters, and I really, there's one character in particular that I love a lot. She's in this mentor-student situation, and it's the best. It's done so well. I care so much, and I want her to be able to bring a better future to her mom. That's all I care about. That's all I want. Ken Liu, This is a story with a lot of tragedy, a lot of hope, a lot of goodness, a lot of humanity in both wonderful and terrible ways. Can Liu, please let her fulfill this promise? That's the only thing I'm asking of you in this book. Anyway, welcome to the vlog. I finished The Wall of Storms and oh no! It's so weird to read an 850-page book and come out of it saying, I want more. Like, it's so weird because I read the first half kind of slowly because I was trying to balance too many books that were too epic in scope for me to really, I didn't plan that out very well. But then the second half of this book was nonstop. Oh my goodness, it was a sprint. I feel exhausted now that I finished it, but I also feel like hungry for the next installment. So, oh my goodness, what a ride. I love so much about this book. It wrung me out. What the characters went through, how incredibly their ingenuity and sacrifice, watching certain family structures fall apart, characters go through so much, but also like so much hope. There's so much hope in this story as well. What else can I talk about? I really love, there was something actually I talked about in my Discord about how I love the mechanics of this series. I love the technology advancement. In great times of war, we figure out new ways to participate in said war. So like in times of conflict, there's so much progress made. And I just really, really love that in the midst of all this action, there's so much ingenuity happening. There's so much technological advancement happening. And so I brought that up in my Discord. I talked about that. And then somebody told me about a quote from the author. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, so this person said, Lou says that this is a fantasy series with engineers instead of mages. And that is such a great description for what this series is. It is a fantasy series, and there's a lot of fantastical elements to it, but there's so much human ingenuity that's at the center of the whole thing. And it's so good. Also, there's characters that I'm so attached to, and there's characters that I hate. Oh man, there's one character in particular. I think that I see what she wants. I see her intentions. And I think that she has good intentions, but she goes about it in a way that just makes me want to punch her in the face. The audacity of this woman. The audacity of Jaya. Anyway, okay. So, loved this book so much. So much. I am such a fangirl for this series, 2 books in. They're thick books. There's a lot going on in these 2 books. And I can't wait to read the next 2 books, which are supposed to be read together. They were written together, and then the publisher made him split them up. So I'm going to read them I'm going to read them back to back, and I think I think a piece of me is going to die when this series ends. And I have no more to read of it. Wow. Okay. I have been reading Dragon Ball, but I've only read 2 volumes so far this week. I would really like to read a 3rd before we check in, so I'll do that in a little bit. Hi there, it's the same day, but I read the one more volume and I'm so glad I did before we did this chat because now I only want to talk about that volume. So, once again, if you didn't hear my last reading vlog, what I'm doing with Dragon Ball now is my words are spoiler free, but on the screen I will include panels for people who have read the series since it's pretty old. But if you are new to the series like I am, my words will be spoiler free, so just listen. Treat me as a podcast for this section of the video. So, oh my goodness. Okay, I read 3 more volumes and in the first 2 that I read, they were good, they were enjoyable, they were fine. There's some really fun stuff, some really fun Indiana Jones type things with some really great gags and good action, fun scenes in that. And there's one scene in particular that I really liked where a certain leader reveals his motivations, and it's a gag. It's all gags. Like, this whole series is gags, and I love that. I love the constant subversion of expectations, like all this set up just to give us a laugh, really. It's a very simple, the story is, this series so far is a very simple plot, and we have like one driving force, we have a group of people that have their motivations and have their characteristics, but all the things that things build up to are usually either awesome action or gags. Like, those are the 2 options so far in the series. And that's good enough for me. That's really all I need. But anyway, the volume that I just read, we got introduced to the crone. And let me tell you, I want to be her when I grow up. I love her character so much, and I love that she basically has surrounded herself with Halloween and everything that we did around the crone, everything that she had, all the tasks that she had us do were Halloween themed. Like, that's so funny to me. And I really like the way that the Dragon Ball has constant action and constant fights, but they're also concise. Like, he has these really intense bursts of action that never feel like they drag on too long. Like, that's one of my complaints about One Piece. I think Oda can do fights well, but I do think that his fights drag sometimes, where it's like, wow, we could have cut this in half. And with Dragon Ball, I don't feel that way at all. My goodness, we get so much action packed into so few panels, and then we move on to the next thing. We get some gags, we get some time to breathe, we get some character stuff, and then we just get on to more really concise, really impactful action. It's just done really, really well, and I like it a lot. So the fights around the crone were a delight, mostly. I didn't like the Invisible Man fight, but you probably could have predicted that. But anyway, mostly excellent fights, and I just gotta say, I know I'm patting myself on the back over something that, like, this is a series where the target demographic is kids, but hey, I'll take a victory when I can get one. The final opponent, I called. As soon as Goku said he smells nice, I was like, I know exactly who that is. And then whenever Roshi recognized the voice, I was like, it's obvious. But what's funny about this is the fact that there was the biggest giveaway right there on his character design, and that went over my head. I'm like, you know, it's a series where the main character has a tail, so, you know, it's, what kind of character design is going to surprise me? And so I was just like, quirky character design. He has this thing, and it's like the biggest gift. Anyway, so very happy with how that all turned out. I thought that it was, I really, really loved this volume. It was just a lot of quick, fun action, great gags. I love the crone. She's my girl. And I love her relation. I like learning more about a certain family tree. And now we're back to plot. This was basically a side quest. We have a certain very specific hurdle in order to get to the next Dragon Ball. So let's do this little side quest over here. It'll only take a volume, and now we're back on track to our goal. And it was a lovely side quest, and I had a great time, and I'm having a great time. Anyway, that's the check-in for Dragon Ball. It's I don't know. I like it. So this week I finished Wall of Storms. Oh my goodness, it blew my mind. Wall of Storms, man. Oh, okay. Anyway. Finished Wall of Storms, continued Dragon Ball, had a great reading week, my goodness. I hope you did too. I post videos every Tuesday and Thursday on this channel, Mondays and Fridays on the other channel, which is always linked in the description. I'll see you again soon. Bye.